Welcome back to HiTech Farmer. Today at the farm, we're gonna be taking out our field cultivator and our 9R tractor out to a field to start doing a little bit of sod busting. Let's get her started. The field that I'm going to work at today is only 4 miles from our main farm site, but since there is a creek that cuts back and forth across the road, kind of got to drive a lot slower to get there. This sod right here is what we're going to be breaking up today with the tractor and field cultivator. This field I'm going to be working today has never ever been farm ground because there used to be an old hog building sitting in the middle of it and it's since been taken down. As you can see, the dirt out here is in a lot larger clumps because this just used to be sod around a hog building. So I worked this down 3 times last fall with the chisel plow, and the goal is to try to get it more closer to soil texture like this, our field right next to it, which has been farmed for over 80 years. Try to bust up some of those large pieces of sod out in this field here today. Since the clods of dirt are still so large out in this field, I know for sure I'm going to work this field a couple times, but for starters, I'm going to start working it at a 175-degree angle, so in this heading, and then if I work it again, I'll go back to 185, that way I'm not working it in the same lines. Here we go. I guess I'm not sure which depth I want to work this at either. Let's see where we're at right now. Right now I'm working at 3.5 inches deep. I think I'll leave that for sure for the first pass, since I really don't need to work any deeper than what the seed bed's gonna be. So we'll work it at 3.5, and then if I have to come back again deeper, I always can. Because this field is still virgin sod, I'm driving significantly slower than what I would out in one of our own fields that's been worked over 40 years in the past, just because the soil is so compacted from never really been worked other than the 3 times I did it last fall. So I'm only driving 4 miles an hour, but it's a small field, so it still shouldn't take overly that long depending on how many times I want to work it. I don't know if the camera picks it up, but you can visibly tell where the old hog barn used to be, because the sod chunks aren't as big as they are over here where it was just previously grass before. So some of that soil up there I think will be pretty good. The only downfall of some of the soil where the old hog barn used to be is there is a bunch of large concrete chunks that are still there that the excavator didn't get, as well as large pieces of steel, iron, tin, stuff that's just fallen to the ground and they didn't get picked up, so that's eventually getting brought back up again when I'm digging here. I just finished one single pass around everything on the field, back and forth. So let's see what the soil conditions look like now behind the digger. As you can tell, there's still a fair amount of large clumps of soil and grass out here. And, well, I guess this is a fence post, but there is a lot of other things out here like rocks. But given that last year at this time, this field looked similar to this grass right here, I would say what we're doing so far today and what we did last fall, we've made a lot of progress out here. And the reason I want the soil texture to be a lot finer and smaller than these large clods of sod that we have right now is because in just a few days we're going to be out here planting some corn, and it's all about our seed to soil contact. So if we have a large clod of dirt like this and we're trying to plant a small seed into it, we don't really have great seed to soil contact. Where if we can break the soil texture down to smaller granules of soil, it definitely helps with our emergence and germination of our corn that we're going to be putting out here. Since I'm still not pleased after the single pass I just made of the soil texture out in this field, I'm going to go ahead and work it again, but I'm actually going to change my strategy on which way I'm going to be working it. So that last time and last fall, I always worked it lengthways, going either this way or in this direction, but now I'm going to work it horizontally across the field, just to get a different angle on those big clods of dirt, hopefully break some more of that stuff up. Just finishing our last pass on the outside of the field for the second time. Now we're gonna jump on outside to see what the soil conditions are looking like now. I definitely broke up some of the larger clods of sod, but as you can tell, there is still a fair amount of them that are remaining out here. But the field cultivator is about the only tillage tool that we have that I think would really break them up. And since I've already made 2 passes, I think we're gonna call that good enough. Hopefully catch a rain on it, and then probably work it again prior to planting when we work the rest of the field that's around it. So I'm gonna fold up and we'll give Dad a call because I think there is one more field that he wanted me to take a look at to maybe work down some corn stalks on. Be quiet now. I'm calling Dad to see if he wants me to work down that other field that's behind our house. If he answers.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, big boy. How's
Yeah.
it going?
Fine. I worked it down twice. Do you want me to work down that field behind the house again or no?
Yeah, I think we better. There's a lot of muffin hills out there.
The one behind the house or the pit one? The pit?
The one you worked before.
Okay.
Just let me know.
Yeah, bye. So every season, I try to spice things up at the farm. So last fall, I would call people and I would answer the phone and I would say, hello, really quietly. And this spring, my thing is, I answer the phone and I go, hello. And as you guys heard, Dad plays right into it. So I'm going to keep doing that this spring. I don't know what it's going to be for this fall. But anytime one of the family members or somebody that helps us here at the farm calls, I'm going to give them the hello. Just made it to this field Dad and I were talking about on the phone. As you can tell, it's right behind our farm place. Gonna get the digger unfolded and put a new guidance line. We'll knock out this field here. So this field I'm working now, unlike the last one, didn't just get taken out of grassland. This has always been a field. It's just we don't usually work this farm in the fall just because it has really light soils. It's right next to a gravel pit. So we like to get in here early in the spring, hit this once or twice, and then usually use this as a test field. Finished working our test field. I call it our test field because it's only a 5-acre field and it's right behind our house. So usually every year this is where we start combining, this is where we start planting because it's a small field, and more than likely whenever you get the planter or the combine out on the first day you're gonna have problems. And at least this way, close to the yard where all of our tools are. So I call this our test field. Let's see what the conditions are looking like now out here after we finish digging. This stuff here worked up darn near perfectly. As you can tell, we have good soil tilth or good texture of the soil, so this is ideal planting conditions. So it won't be much longer, we'll have the planter out here. And at the moment, we're kind of waiting for 2 things on our planter. Number 1, next week it's looking like there's supposed to be some cooler temperatures rolling in, and my motto is, if I gotta wear a coat outside and it's too cold, I don't like to put seed in the ground. And number 2, because we're having some problems with our GPS on our planter. I think it's a problem on our globe. So there's a person supposed to be coming down to look at our globe and our planter. And since that one's special because we have higher accuracy or sub-inch accuracy, we can't just swap globes between tractors and tractors. So maybe it's a good thing Dad won the battle of keeping the markers on the planter for at least one more year. I don't want to do it. It's one of my least favorite jobs on the farm, but since we just worked that little piece where that old hog barn is, I figured I should grab our 6150, our bucket tractor, and go pick up some of the miscellaneous rocks and other iron scrap things that might be out there, just so we don't run them through the planter. Good haul of rocks off of this little field again here. I don't know if there's really room for another rock to go in the bucket. The scary thing about all the rocks in the bucket is this is the 4th large bucket load of rocks that we've taken off this little 4 or 5 acre patch in the last 6 months. So I'm going to bring these rocks back up to the farm to add to our collection. It didn't look like it on video, but it took us over 4 hours to pick all the rocks out at that field. It was 80 degrees today out, 40-mile-per-hour winds. So I'm tired, but I got a question for you guys. After walking back and forth in that field all afternoon long, seeing we still have large clods of dirt out in that field, I'm wondering, this is our cultipacker that we use to break up when there's large compaction at headlands, and I'm wondering if we should run this cultipacker over that field where I have those huge clods of dirt. I don't know, it's just another thought because I know we're gonna have problems with emergence, especially on corn, since we couldn't really make any more difference with the field cultivator. So it's just a thought, but that's gonna be it for today's video. Thanks so much everybody for watching. We'll see ya in the next one.